The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was full. Over 1,000 alien races had gathered. Floating drones buzzed in the air, broadcasting the Peace Summit live across the stars. It was the first time Earth had been given a major voice at the table. Ambassador Hale of Earth stepped forward, calm and steady. His silver suit caught the light. Behind him stood 2 tall human guards, silent and alert. The crowd murmured as Hale raised his hand to speak. "Let today mark a new age," he said. "An age where peace is more than a dream. Where we—" The words stopped. A sharp, crackling sound echoed through the hall. A blue bolt of energy ripped through Hale's chest. His body jerked once and fell. Screams broke out. Guards rushed in. The camera feeds cut to black. The Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. People shouted in hundreds of languages. Security officers scanned the crowd, weapons drawn. Somewhere, alarms howled. Ambassador Hale was dead, and Earth said nothing. For one day the Council waited. Maybe Earth would demand answers. Maybe they would declare war. But nothing came. On the second day, Earth's diplomats withdrew from every outpost. No explanations, no messages. On the third day, Earth's ships left Council space. Trading ships, science vessels, even embassy crafts, all vanished. Earth's colonies stopped responding. No calls, no warnings, silence. The galaxy began to talk. "The humans are scared," said a Varnock general. "They lost one man and they hide, typical." "They never belonged in the Council," said a Drax ambassador. "Let them leave." "They're probably preparing speeches," laughed another. But the smart ones, they were quiet. Because something didn't feel right. The Varnock Combine was the first suspect. They had fought Earth before, small skirmishes over mining worlds. Everyone knew they hated humans. And the energy signature of the bolt matched Varnock tech. Still, the Council took no action, no arrests, no questions. Just silence. Earth noticed, but still Earth said nothing. Inside Earth's moonbase, a room lit up. An old code was activated. It hadn't been touched in over 100 years. On the screen, glowing red letters appeared. Protocol Nightfall. No. One in the galaxy knew what that meant. But deep under Earth's surface, ancient machines began to wake up. The Council continued its business. A replacement ambassador from another world stood at the same podium just 2 weeks later. He gave a speech. He smiled. Everyone had already forgotten Hale. Then came the message. It was short. Just a single sentence transmitted on all Council channels. "You killed peace. Now you face the silence." There was no signature, but everyone knew who it was. A week later, the Varnock mining station on Sector 944 disappeared. Not attacked, disappeared. No wreckage, no signal, just melted rock, twisted metal, and black ash where the outpost used to be. 2 patrol ships sent to investigate vanished too. The Council tried to hide the news, but leaks spread fast. A whisper grew in every starport and station. Earth is doing something big. The Varnock Combine laughed it off. Terror tricks. Humans don't have the power, but their generals were nervous. Satellites kept going offline. Ships near human borders weren't reporting back. The Supreme Council called an emergency meeting. Some wanted to question Earth. Others wanted to offer peace. A few even suggested, but no one could reach Earth. Their communication gates were locked, their colonies silent. Only one strange signal made it through. It was from a human AI. It said, "Justice is not delayed. It is prepared." Then the signal cut out. On the HFY edge of Council space, an old trading post picked up something strange. A fleet of ships, massive, black, and silent, was moving without any known engine signatures. No heat, no drive flares, just drifting forward. Smooth, cold, like ghosts. The post tried to send a message. The signal bounced back, fried. All systems shut down for 2 minutes. When they returned, the ships were gone. The Council claimed it was a system glitch. Nothing real, just rumors. But inside they were afraid. Because in all their centuries of war and conquest, no one had ever seen human warships like these. No one knew Earth had kept secrets, and no one knew that Ambassador Hale's death had started something far worse than war, something old, something planned, and something no one could stop, because Earth had been silent not out of fear, but because they were counting down, and the countdown was almost over. The stars around Earth had gone quiet. No ships flew in or out. No messages. No trade. No signals. It was like Earth had closed its doors. The Council called it a defensive pause. But everyone knew the truth. Earth was preparing for something big. Spies tried to sneak into human space. They never came back. Drones sent near Earth's border were turned into floating dust, without warning, without noise. Just a flash of light and then nothing. On Colony Station Viron, a group of traders sat around a dim bar. One of them, an old Torak pilot, leaned close. "I saw it," he whispered, "with my own eyes." "What?" someone asked. "The Black Fleet," he said. "No lights, no engines, just moving, like shadows in space." "Lies," another said. The old pilot shook his head. "They weren't flying. They were gliding. And when they passed by, my ship's systems died. I had to drift for 4 hours before my backup woke up." No one laughed, because too many others had similar stories. The Varnock Combine, proud and loud, finally stepped up. On their homeworld, the Varnock Supreme General stood before his people and said, "Let the humans come. We will crush them like before." Behind his words was fear. He remembered the old battles with Earth. Small fights, yes, but every time humans had fought like demons. Their machines were clever, their soldiers faster, and their tactics strange. Almost as if their minds worked differently. Still, the general smiled. They lost one man. They'll lose 1,000 more if they dare. Far from Varnock space, on a quiet, empty moon, a hidden Earth base activated. Deep underground, ancient machines hummed. They were cold, black, and built for only one purpose: war. Above them, a fleet of ships powered on one by one. They were not new. They were old, forgotten, covered in dust and silence. A human officer, Commander Reyes, stood before a giant screen. "Status?" he asked. A voice replied, cold and calm. "Protocol Nightfall, 70% complete. Fleet warm-up in progress." "Targets confirmed?" "Yes," the voice said. "Varnock military zones, Council communication nodes, strategic disruption points." Commander Reyes didn't blink. "Good. Let them keep guessing. We don't want war, but we will end it if they ask for it." Back at the Galactic Council, leaders from many races argued. Some wanted to punish Earth, others said to wait. "Earth has always been emotional," said one ambassador. "They'll cool down." "Have you ever seen Earth this quiet?" another replied. The council chair stood. "We must send a warning. If Earth attacks, the council will respond with full force." But no one wanted to send that message, not even the Varnock, because every passing hour brought more fear. Patrols vanished. Satellites failed. Communications broke. And then, on the 4th day after Hale's death, something happened. A Varnock patrol ship sent a distress signal. It was only 2 words. "They're here." Then silence. The Varnock sent 5 more ships to investigate. None returned. All that was found later was a single piece of metal, floating alone. It was a human warning beacon. The message etched on its side was simple. "You broke the peace. Now we break." The silence. Panic spread, but Earth still said nothing. Inside Earth's War Command, the countdown ticked lower. Admiral Suri, one of Earth's top war leaders, stood in silence watching the screen. She didn't speak. She didn't smile. Finally, a voice said, "Black Fleet is ready." She nodded. "Do not attack yet." "Why?" the AI asked. "Because fear is louder than fire." In the dark, the fleet waited. Cold. Silent. Ready. And across the stars, the council could feel something watching. something ancient, something human, and the silence was only getting louder. Far beyond the edge of Varnock space, 3 scout ships moved through the darkness. Their job was simple: find out what happened to the missing patrol. But inside the lead ship, the crew was tense. They flew through silent space, surrounded by stars, but something felt wrong. "There's no debris," said the pilot. "No signals," said the sensor officer. "Where are the bodies?" asked the captain. "Even pirates leave wreckage." Then the lights flickered. One by one, the ship's systems began to shut down. "Navigation, weapons, engines, what's happening?" someone shouted. Before anyone could answer, the view screen lit up. Not with a message, not with weapons, but with a shadow. A ship, huge, black and terrifying, moved past them, slow and silent. No lights, no engines. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just watched. Then the screen went black. All 3 scout ships disappeared. Hours later, the Varnock received a package, a small black box. Inside was a single video. It showed the last 5 seconds from the lead scout's camera, the shadow ship, and then nothing. The video ended with a message in Old Earth code. "You were warned." The Varnock Combine called an emergency war meeting. They launched full defenses around their homeworld: planetary shields, orbital cannons, strike fleets. Every ship was called back, but it was too late, because Earth had already arrived. Without sound, without warning, dozens of Earth warships appeared at the edge of Varnock space. They had no call signs, no colors, no heat signatures. They looked like they had been carved from the void itself. Each ship was different in size, but all were shaped for one thing: destruction. They were the Black Fleet. Inside the council, fear exploded. "How did they get those ships?" one ambassador shouted. "They were banned," yelled another. "Those designs were lost centuries ago." "They're not just warships," whispered a third. "They're nightmares." But Earth didn't reply to the council. Not anymore. The Black Fleet began moving toward the first Varnock colony. It had no military base, no weapons, just families and workers. The council begged Earth to stop. No answer. Then, just as the fleet entered orbit, all the Varnock people were evacuated. Every single one. By human drones. The entire colony was saved. But the city? Gone. Wiped. From the surface, not bombed, not burned, just removed, as if it never existed. That message was clear. "We don't want to kill your people, but we will destroy everything you built." Inside the Black Fleet, Admiral Suri stood at the command deck. "Any sign of retaliation?" she asked. "None. They're too scared to move." "Good. They should be. But we're not finished yet." She looked at the map. It showed all Varnock-controlled worlds. "All of this," she said, "was paid for in blood. Hale's blood." At the council, chaos grew. Some races now feared Earth more than the Varnock. Others began leaving council space, wanting no part in what was coming. "They're out of control," a Drax leader cried. "They can't just erase worlds." But no one moved to stop Earth, because deep down, they knew Earth could have destroyed the colony without warning. Instead, they spared the people. This wasn't madness. It was a message. A cold, calculated one. "You killed our ambassador," Earth was saying. "We are not here for revenge. We are here for justice." On Varnock Prime, the Supreme General looked at the sky. His sensors showed Earth ships getting closer every hour. "They don't talk," he muttered. "They don't negotiate." He turned to his war council. "They're not coming for peace." "No," said one of his captains. "They're coming for the truth." And the truth was far more terrifying than war. Because Earth had not just built weapons, they had built fear. And now, that fear was marching. Through the stars, unstoppable, silent, and closer every second. The Black Fleet kept moving, no music. No war cries, no live broadcasts, only silence. Planet after planet fell before they even fired a shot. Varnock colonies were abandoned. Military bases were emptied. No one dared to stay. The fear of Earth had become greater than Earth's weapons. The Council finally broke their silence. They sent a messenger ship to the edge of Earth space, holding a dozen ambassadors from different species. They carried one message: stop the attacks. Let us talk. But when their ship reached Earth's border, something strange happened. The ship stopped. Not because of weapons, not because of orders, but because space itself refused to let them in. An invisible field surrounded human space. The EA ship's engines failed. Their AI went quiet. Even their lights dimmed. Then a single message appeared on their screen. You spoke after the killing. We respond after the silence. The message vanished. The ship drifted back. Inside the council, chamber panic spread. They're not negotiating, shouted one ambassador. They've locked themselves away with technology we don't understand. They're using old war tech, dark science, another hissed. No, said a quiet voice. It was from a rare species known as the Thesari, an ancient race known for memory and patience. They are not using darkness, they are using their pain. Everyone turned. The Thesari representative stood slowly. You all forget what humans are. You forget where they came from. They do not act quickly, like the Varnock. They wait. They plan. And when they move, it's final. The chamber fell silent. Back near Varnock space, Admiral Suri stared at the reports coming in. One after another, her ships reported the same thing: zero resistance. The Varnock were not even trying to fight. Commander Reyes joined her. They're retreating, hiding. Their leaders have gone underground. She nodded. Good. Let them watch. Reyes lowered his voice. But the council, they're panicking. They may turn on us next. Suri didn't blink. Then they should have spoken when our ambassador bled out in their hall. They chose comfort. Now we deliver truth. He paused. And the civilians? We've spared all of them. Suri's voice was calm. We are not like them. We don't kill the weak. We destroy the shields they hide behind. Far above Varnock Prime, a human probe released something strange. Millions of small metal shards. They formed a ring around the planet, scanning every frequency, every signal, every hidden base. Then, they sent a single broadcast to everyone. All, across the galaxy, the same message played. Earth is not at war. Earth is awake. The meaning was clear. Earth had never gone to sleep. They had waited, built, watched, and when the time came, they acted. The Varnock Supreme General saw the message and realized something terrible. We thought we killed a man, he whispered, but we stabbed a nation. He turned to his guards. Prepare the last ship, I must leave this planet. Where will you go? He didn't answer, because he knew there was nowhere left to run. The Black Fleet was still coming, and they had not yet spoken their final message. They were not just here for Hale. They were here for everyone who stayed silent, everyone who watched a human die and did nothing. And soon, the stars would carry a new story, a warning. If you hurt one of us, you face all of us. The last Varnock world fell without a single shot. Earth ships entered orbit. Every Varnock soldier dropped their weapon and ran. Every officer vanished into bunkers or escape pods. The Black Fleet did not land. They just hovered, watching, waiting. Above the capital city of the Varnock homeworld, massive Earth ships cast shadows over towers and temples. Citizens stayed inside. The skies were silent. Then, without warning, the Black Fleet moved again. But not to destroy. They deployed drones, millions of small black machines that moved like smoke. They scanned everything: data towers, weapon vaults, archives, and even graves. The Varnock Supreme General, hiding deep underground, watched it all through a trembling screen. What are they doing? A junior officer asked. The general swallowed hard. They're collecting truth. He was right. The drones weren't looking for weakness. They were looking for proof. Proof of who ordered the killing of Earth's ambassador, proof of lies, proof of betrayal. Back in Earth's command ship, Admiral Suri stood with her officers. On the screen, images flashed. Old Varnock war plans, hidden communications, secret council votes, and finally, video footage. Commander Reyes leaned forward. That's it. The footage showed the moment before Ambassador Hale was killed. But now from a new angle. A Varnock guard received a message on his personal device, then nodded, then fired. Orders, Suri whispered. He didn't act alone. The message had come from the council. Not all of them. Just a few. But that was enough. Prepare the next wave, Suri said. Reyes looked at her. You're not just targeting the Varnock anymore, are you? She shook her head. The galaxy needs to see what justice looks like. Back at the Galactic Council, panic turned into fear. Ships began fleeing council space. Allies sent messages to Earth begging for forgiveness. We didn't know. We didn't agree. We tried to stop it. But Earth remained silent. Again. One by one, council systems started failing. Communications were jammed. Satellites stopped working. Power grids shut down for seconds, just long enough to show Earth could, just long enough to say, we're inside your systems. Council guards were doubled. Command centers moved underground. No one trusted anyone anymore. And then came the final message, not through radio, not through data, but written in bright, burning letters across the sky of every council world. We have not fired. Yet you all feel the heat. That is the power of restraint. Every leader read those words. Every citizen saw it. And the silence that followed was not peace. It was fear, because everyone now knew humanity had changed. They were not the loud species anymore. Not the reckless ones, they were quiet, cold, and fully awake. Back on Varnock Prime, the Black Fleet powered down. They didn't destroy the planet. They didn't kill anyone. But they erased every military base, every government building, every symbol of power. And then, they left. No speech, no deal, no warning. Just a message burned into the ground where the Supreme Command once stood. Never again. Across the stars, the story spread. Not of war, but of precision, of control, of vengeance, without chaos. And everyone, every species, asked themselves the same question. What will Earth do next? And none of them liked the answer forming in their minds. The galaxy held its breath. The Black Fleet had vanished just as quickly as it appeared, but its silence was louder than any war. Council worlds repaired their satellites. Varnock leaders crawled from hiding. Old allies sent gifts, apologies, even promises of loyalty. But Earth didn't reply. Admiral Suri stood alone on the bridge of the command ship Hale's Honor. She stared at the stars. They were quiet now. Too quiet. Commander Reyes entered. We've confirmed it. The council is broken. Some worlds want to join us. Others want to hide. Suri nodded. And the Varnock? Still in chaos. Their Supreme General is missing. Probably dead. She closed her eyes. Not enough. Reyes hesitated. You think this isn't over? No, she said, because the ones who ordered Hale's death still walk free. Just then, a private message came in, encrypted, ancient format, human code. They opened it. It was from a rogue informant inside the council, and it had a name, one of the council's highest voices, a species called the Relari, peaceful, silent, pretending to be neutral. But the message showed otherwise. They had planned the killing, not just to remove Earth from the council, but to start a war they could profit from. Suri's voice turned cold. How many others helped them? 3 more species. Old enemies of Earth, all pretending to be friends. She didn't hesitate. Then we don't stop now. We hunt lies, not just weapons. The Black Fleet regrouped, but this time, they didn't send ships. They sent shadows, stealth probes, drones, hackers, ghost units. Every hidden hand behind Hale's death was being tracked, and one by one they began to disappear. On the planet Kairos, a Relari general was found frozen in orbit, his escape pod open from the inside. On Zel 9, a top diplomat's memory core was wiped, replaced with a looped message. We remember who stood by and watched. On the neutral moon of Sen, a meeting of 5 ex-council races was shut down by a single sound, an old Earth whistle, once used in human wars to signal the start of an attack. They ran, but they knew. Earth was already there, not with fleets, but with judgment. Inside the council chamber, empty seats grew by the day. No one trusted each other anymore. But Earth didn't need trust. They had something better, fear, and purpose. Because now the Black Fleet was more than just ships. It was a symbol that humanity would never be pushed again, never be ignored, and never lose one of their own without answering back. Back on Earth, people watched the news calmly. No celebration, no parades, just quiet respect for Ambassador Hale, and deep silence for the future. Because they knew something no alien could understand. This wasn't just revenge. It was correction, and they weren't finished yet. Admiral Suri looked at her star map. The final name was still glowing red. She pointed at it. "That's the last one," she said. Reyes nodded. "What if they surrender?" She didn't blink. "Then we accept it." "But if they lie?" Suri smiled just a little. "Then we remind them. You thought killing one of us would break us. You were dead wrong." And the stars listened. Because they knew. Earth wasn't hunting enemies anymore. They were hunting truth. The last red mark on Admiral Suri's map blinked softly. A quiet, distant world. Home of the Relari High Circle, the final group responsible for the order that led to Ambassador Hale's death. Unlike others, the Relari didn't run. They didn't hide. They called for a meeting. They wanted to talk. Inside a massive crystal chamber floating above their ocean world, the Relari gathered, dressed in white, calm, cold. They waited for Earth's answer, and Earth sent one ship. Only one. It entered orbit in silence, just like the rest of the Black Fleet. But this one, it carried Suri herself. She walked alone through the airlock, no guards, no weapons, just a small data crystal in her hand. The Relari leader met her at the chamber door. "You came in peace?" "I came in memory," Suri said. They led her to a round table made of light and glass. The meeting began. "We regret what happened," the Relari said smoothly. "It was a mistake." Suri didn't sit. "No. It was a decision. You voted. You whispered. You gave the order." The chamber went quiet. "We feared Earth's rise," another Relari admitted. "You were growing too fast, too bold. We wanted to slow you down." "You succeeded," Suri said. They looked up in surprise. "We paused," she continued. "We buried our pain. We studied the silence. And we built the Black Fleet in the dark." "Then why are we still alive?" asked the Relari leader. "You could destroy us." Suri placed the data crystal on the table. Images appeared in the air, evidence, records, secrets from the Council's own hidden vaults. Everything Earth had gathered. "Because this is not about killing," she said. "It's about truth." The Relari leader leaned forward. "What do you want?" Suri stared at him. "We want your voice, on every frequency, on every screen. We want you to tell the galaxy what you did. Admit it. Own it. Face it." The Relari flinched. "That would destroy us." "No," she said. "That would heal what you broke." The chamber fell silent again. Finally, the Relari leader stood. Slowly. He nodded. Hours later, every planet received the same message. Not from Earth, but from the Relari themselves. They confessed. They told the truth. They showed the vote. They named the ones who stayed silent. And they honored the one they had killed. Ambassador Hale. His name echoed across systems that once mocked Earth. Now, they wept. Back on Earth, people stood still as the message played. No cheers, just respect. The stars above Earth shimmered quietly. The Black Fleet returned to orbit, then powered down. Their mission was over. Commander Reyes joined Admiral Suri on the bridge. "We've changed the galaxy," he said. Suri nodded. "No, we reminded it." "Of what?" She turned to him. "That when one human falls, all of Earth rises." He smiled. "And what now?" "Now," she said, looking out at the stars. "We watch. But this time, we don't sleep." Far away in quiet corners of space, old enemies whispered Earth's name. But no one dared speak against them. Not now. Not after what they'd seen. Because the lesson was written clearly across every shattered throne and burning lie. You thought killing Earth's ambassador would stop them. You were dead wrong.